2020. This is Judge Wish, Courtroom 1, Session 1. Can I have the parties announce themselves for the record, please?
Good morning, Lakeisha Halen, Office of the Public Defender.
Elaine Fusco, State Attorney's Office.
Victor Meade on behalf of Michelle Roberjo.
All right, Mr. Meade, you filed two 33-day motions for Mr. Roberjo. Looks like 2019 CF 16518AO and 2019 CF 16527AO. My understanding is the state filed a no information notice on January 7th.
Yes, Your Honor. On January 7th, there was a notice of non-filing in both cases.
Okay, so those will be granted, Mr. Meade.
Thank you.
And I'll sign those. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And in the future, you don't have to come down, you know, okay?
Okay, now I do
You just
know.
wanted to come visit me.
That's right. See what the inner workings are all about.
Yes.
I'm going to tell my guy what's going on.
Okay, have a good day. Does he know that they don't bring them over? I don't know. Okay, yeah, I didn't think that, unless he was going. All right. Are we just,
They're getting Mr. Brody.
okay, all right. All right, good morning, Mr. Broadus. How you doing today?
No good.
All right, you're here in 2020 MO 42. You're arrested for disorderly conduct. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender for you. Was there an offer for Mr. Broadus?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, 2 days with credit time served, court calls.
All right, Mr. Broadus, do you want to do that? You get out today.
You got today? Yeah, I like to take it off.
Okay. Doing okay today?
Yeah,
Okay. You know what's going on?
yeah.
Okay. All right, Mr. Broadus, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes it is.
Okay. Did you understand everything in the plea form?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you on probation anywhere?
Mission. No, I'm not.
Okay. Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
If you're not a U.S. citizen, this will subject you to deportation.
Do you understand
Oh.
that question?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You find a factual basis to accept your plea, I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served, excuse me. I do have to impose court costs, I'll order you pay those by January 8th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck, Mr. Broadus.
Good luck to you too.
Thank you. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Ray Lamar.
All right, Mr.
Brandon.
Lamar, you're here in 2020, MO 43. You were arrested for disorderly conduct, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer for Mr. Lamar?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, 2 days, credit time served, court cost.
Okay, Mr. Lamar, do you want to accept that offer?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you signed the plea form, please?
Your Honor, just for the record's purpose, Mr. Lamar has been adjudicated incompetent without any,
When was that?
it's a permanent finding.
Okay, well, do you want him to sit in jail, or?
I'm letting you know.
It's permanent, I mean, the case is over, right? Yeah, so, I mean, there's been no finding in this case.
Right, because they don't come out the day that he gets
I
arrested.
understand, but it has to be the present ability, so if he was determined to be incompetent in another case,
Okay, I'm just
that
telling you.
I understand the PD's position, but
Right.
the finding does not continue to every case. It would have to be a finding made in this case. If you don't want him to enter a plea because you don't believe that he's competent right now,
Correct.
have you had any conversations with him?
Not this morning, I
Do you-
have not. There has not been a finding showing that he's competent, so it is,
It doesn't need to be. It would have to be made in this case. So if you feel like you need to speak with him because you don't think he's competent right now, then that would be something that,
well, I can definitely speak with him, but ultimately, the public defender's position is until he's
okay, do you
adjudicated
want to file
competent.
a motion?
A motion can be filed.
Ray Jackson.
Right, you
Right.
could file a motion with the belief that you don't believe that he's competent right now, presently, and that he doesn't understand that he's been charged with disorderly conduct.
Right,
Or
yeah.
what the consequences of,
Right, you appointed the public defender. If you were just gonna leave him pro se, he was able to make that decision. However, I would prefer to speak with him prior to.
that's fine, and that's all you need to say, is that you want to talk to him to make sure that you feel comfortable that he is able and knowingly, voluntarily entering this plea in this case for disorderly conduct. So I'll give you that opportunity, that's fine, I don't have a problem with that.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Lamar, Ms. Haling's gonna talk to you, do you want to talk to him at the end?
Yes.
Okay. All right, please tell me your name, ma'am.
Shakana Sanders.
All right, Ms. Sanders, you're here in 2020 MO 46. You're arrested for camping, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Was there an offer?
Miss,
Yes, Your Honor.
can I say
Hold on
something?
1 second. Let's see if you want to resolve your case today.
Yeah, what it was
Well, I don't want you to talk about the facts, okay? Okay.
Adjudication of guilt, 2 days with credit time served, court cost.
So you'll get out today, Ms. Sanders. Do you want to accept the offer?
well, the thing is I
Why
was
don't you
unaware.
talk to Ms. Haling about the facts? I don't want to talk to you about the facts.
I was unaware that it was a law. But that goes on my record. That's all I was saying, because I know who the person is, stays inside. No, I accept it.
All right, Ms. Sanders, do you want to go forward with the plea?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have you sign the plea form, please. All right, Ms. Sanders, is that your signature on the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything that was contained in the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
You know another thing that happened?
Okay, I don't want to know another thing that happened. I want to know if you understand the rights
Wait.
that you're giving up by entering the plea. They're listed on the plea form. So, for instance, you have the right to be presumed innocent until you're proven guilty. You have the right to confront witnesses.
Yeah, I do know that I'm getting what the rights I'm getting.
Okay, I just need to make sure that you do understand that. Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Okay, you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation? I'm sorry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. Do you have to impose court costs? I'll order that you pay those by January 8th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Okay? Good luck.
So like, what, how do I pay the court fees? Like, what is
Uh,
how do I get in touch with you? How do I pay?
All right, Ms. Sanders, if you have questions about the court fees, you contact the clerk's office, okay? Thank you. All right. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
Michael Stiegel.
All right, Mr. Stiegel, you're here in 2020 MO 47. You're arrested for camping in a prohibited place. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, adjudication of guilt, 2 days with credit time served, court costs.
All right, Mr. Stiegel, do you want to accept that offer?
Yes.
It's credit for time served.
Oh,
And I'll
yes.
give you a year to pay your court costs, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes.
Did you understand everything that was contained within that plea form?
Yes.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea. Based on the affidavit in the court file, I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. I do have to impose court costs. I'll order you pay those by January 8th, 2021. If
Okay.
you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
DeAndre Jackson.
All right, Mr. Jackson, you're here in 2020 MM 7AE. You're arrested for petty theft, and it's with a prior theft conviction, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Was there an offer?
No, Your Honor, as it's enhanceable, it looks like there might actually be more than one prior, and we would withhold an offer at this time.
Okay, so, Mr. Jackson, you can't go back to Publix at 440 North Orlando Avenue. Can't have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case, and the bond will stay at $500.
All right.
All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Kashasha Williams.
All right, Mr. Williams, you're here in 2020 MM 175AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning, and I do find probable cause. I don't have a form for the public defender. Was there an offer for Mr. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, 2 days with credit time served, court costs, no return to scene of the trespass.
All right, do you want to accept that offer, sir?
Yes, may I propose this for a minute? The situation I wanted to speak about is that,
Well, I don't want you to talk about the facts, okay?
Okay,
So
that's
if
what I
you
was
want to
reading.
resolve, well, today's not that day. So if you want to resolve your case, the state's offer is credit for time served. And you got to abide by the trespass warning. You can't go back to the location that you were trespassed. I would
ma'am.
have to impose court costs, and I'll give you a year to pay those back. If you don't want to accept the offer, you don't have to, but I'm not going to discuss the facts with you today. That's not, I don't want you to say anything that will later affect you negatively. Everything that you say can be used against you, okay? So if you're not going to accept the offer, the state may prosecute you and then use that evidence and whatever you say to me today against you. Do you want to, do you want me to appoint the public defender and you can talk to them about it?
yeah,
Okay, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. Do you have any questions for Ms. Haling?
no, I didn't. If
May
they
I
can
have
find-
just a moment, Your Honor?
All right, Mr. Williams, so if you think you have a defense, and you very well may, that then you don't need to take the plea today. So is that, do you want to talk to an attorney longer about it another day?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Appreciate it.
So what I'm gonna do is order, obviously, that you're to abide by the trespass. You can't go back to the Lake Eola Park, okay? They've trespassed you, whether you think that they haven't or not, that's what they're claiming, so I would not go back there if I were you. And I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance. You need to make sure when they release you, they're gonna give you a court date. You gotta show up to that court date. If you don't, you're gonna get a warrant and you'll be right back here in front of me or another judge, okay?
Okay.
All right?
All right. Thank you.
All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Jeffrey Feitzer.
All right, Mr. Feitzer, you're here in 2020 CF 126AO. You're arrested for burglary of a structure, trespass on a designated construction site, resisting an officer with violence, and resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You may not return back to that construction area between the Interstate 4 and Ivanhoe Boulevard. You cannot have any contact with any listed victims or witnesses in the case. All right, the bond will stay set at 3,500 on count 1, 150 on counts 2 and 3, and 100 on count 4.
I don't have a public attorney, and what they state is not true.
I think I appointed the public defender. So you do have an attorney. If you have a defense, then you need to discuss all of those things with your attorney, okay? All right, and what happened to Mr. Smith? Okay, we'll take no action on Mr. Smith. All right, state your name, please.
Nicole Blankenship.
All right, Ms. Blankenship. You're here in 2020 CF 213. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for grand theft third degree of a motor vehicle. And I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You may not return back to 1275 East Story Road. No alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription, and no contact with any listed victim, witness, or co-defendant. And the bond will stay set at 2,500.
Am I able to get PTR'd for this one?
No.
Can they update my address?
All right, good morning. Please tell me your name.
Nicholas Brown.
All right, Mr. Brown, you're here in 2020 CF 251AO. You're arrested for grand theft third degree as a scheme to defraud and petty theft of $100 or more. And I do find probable cause for those offenses. I don't have a form for the public defender. Were you planning on hiring your own attorney?
No, ma'am, I was gonna try to cancel myself.
Okay, I don't recommend that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the public defender? If you want to later represent yourself, that's something that you can discuss with the judge in your case.
Yes, ma'am, I can get the public defender.
Okay. Do you work?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. And where do you work?
Planet Fitness,
Okay. And then do you get paid weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly?
bi-weekly.
And then how much is your paycheck bi-weekly?
It runs between at least 6 and 7, depending on the hours.
$600 to $700?
Yes, ma'am.
And then do you have any children?
I got one.
And how old are they?
He's 3 months. He'll be 4 months on the
Okay, I
21st.
think he qualifies. Yes, you do qualify for the public defender. I'm going to appoint them to represent you. And so you're not to return back to the Academy Sports at 3557 Garden Ridge Way or have any contact with any victims or witnesses at that location.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I am gonna stay the bond at 2,500 and 100. I'm not gonna revoke your release, okay, on your other cases. Do you want me to appoint the public defender on those cases for you? I don't know if you have them, I don't believe.
I
Okay.
doesn't have one, but you
Okay,
can, ma'am.
I'm gonna appoint the public defender for you on those cases too. 2019 CF 17168 and 2019 CT 9142. I don't know if that's a 0 or.
Is that last one the
14.
driving with
Okay.
suspended
Yeah.
license?
So you need to
Okay.
get in touch with your attorneys when you get out, okay?
ma'am.
Ms. Haley's gonna give you some information, and you talk to them about that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Rafael Bulan Resto.
All right, sir, you're here in 2019 CF 16977. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for burglary of a conveyance, petty theft, dealing in stolen property as trafficking, false verification of ownership to a pawnbroker, and receiving money from a pawnbroker by false verification. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. You're not to return back to 1710 Premier Road or have any contact with any listed victim or witness there, and you're not to also go back to the Queen of Ponds at 5831 South Orange Blossom Trail, or have any contact with any listed victim or witness at that location. And I'll stay the bond on count 1 at 5,000. Count 2, I'll reduce to 100. Count 3, I'll reduce to 150. Count 4, 150, and count 5, 150. 150.
Sorry, Your Honor, the last one was 150?
Yeah,
Oh.
all they're all subsidiaries.
Your Honor, the next one, Clark, can we skip them?
Sure.
We have to do,
All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Esteban Cruz Valga.
I'm sorry?
Esteban Cruz Valga.
Okay. Mr. Cruz Vargas, you're here in 2019 CF 10163AO, and you were arrested pursuant to a capias for carrying concealed firearm, and a judge did find probable cause for that offense. The state did file an information, charge you with that offense. And I don't have a form for the public defender's office. Are you planning on hiring your own attorney?
I already got a lawyer.
You have one?
Yeah.
Have they filed a notice? When did you speak with them?
I haven't speak to them.
Sorry?
I haven't spoke to them.
Oh, you haven't spoke with them? Okay, so,
Showed, Your Honor, sorry, Dominic Sigorsky.
okay. Okay, so Mr. Sigorsky did file a notice. It looks like he filed it, and then the state filed a no info, and then they filed a refile. So you may want to talk to Mr. Sigorsky. He may not know that he still represents you because it was a refile, okay? So you may want to get in touch with him. What I'll do is, I won't appoint the PD unless he's technically still in the case. So you're not to return back to the Millennium Mall, okay? No weapons or firearms or any ammunition, and the bond stays at the $1,000, okay?
All right.
Your Honor, this is Clark Matthews.
Okay, thank you. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Matthew Clark.
All right, Mr. Clark, you're here in 2020 CF 269AO. You're arrested for possession of fentanyl, possession of heroin, possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of a controlled substance, and petty theft. And I do find probable cause for those offenses. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You may not return back to 8101 South John Young Parkway, the Walmart. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and no contact with any victims or witnesses. The bond on count 1 stays at 1,000, count 2, 150, 100, 150, and 100. All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Jediah Diaz Lopez.
All right, Mr. Diaz-Lopez, you're here in 2020 CF 259AO. You're arrested for retail theft over 300, which is technically the grand theft. And so I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. You cannot return back to the Millennium Mall, and no contact with any listed victims or witnesses at that location. The bond stays at 1,000. You're also out on release. 2019 CF 16051 and 2019 CF 11826. And I'm gonna revoke the bonds in those, and there's another case. And 2019 CT 8442. I'm revoking the bonds in those cases, setting them at none. Does he have the public defender? Okay, what I'm gonna do is appoint the public defender in those cases for you. They'll have to file motions to set bond. All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Johnny Glenn Donaldson.
All right, Mr. Donaldson, you're here in 2020 CF 263AO. You're arrested for burglary of a dwelling and grand theft of $100 or more from a dwelling or curtilage. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. You may not return back to 1424 Lake Crest Drive or have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case. And the bond will stay set at $5,000 on count 1, count 2, $150.
Your Honor, would you consider pretrial release?
No. All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Tony Dorsey.
All right, Mr. Dorsey, you're here in 2018 CF 8540AO. You're arrested pursuant to a KPS for failing to appear for your trial on November 13th, 2019. The judge in your case did set your bond at none on each count. And does he have the PD? He has a private attorney? Because it was trial, so my guess is, did you have an attorney?
Got off the case though.
They got off the case? Okay. Okay, you filled out a form for the PD. I'm gonna appoint them to represent you, okay?
Yes,
They're
ma'am.
gonna have to file a motion to set bond for you.
All right.
Okay? All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Keyshawn Ups.
All right, Mr. Epps, you're here in 2020 CF 249AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for accessory after the fact for first-degree murder with a firearm and destruction of evidence. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. And I believe this is an F1 not punishable by life.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's my understanding.
Okay, all right. And so, Mr. Epps, you are not to have any contact with any listed victim, any witness, or any co-defendant or the victim's families, okay? You're not to possess weapons or firearms or ammunition, and no return back to the offense scene. And, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And I think I said no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Okay. I'm setting your bond at $150,000 on count 1, and count 2 will stay set at $5,000. I'm revoking your release in 2019 CF 16708AO. And it looks like the PD does represent you in that case, so they'll have to file a motion to set bond for you. All right, tell me your name, sir.
Donnell Frazier.
All right, Mr. Frazier, you're here in 2020 CF 204AO. And you were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for principal in the first degree to second degree murder. And the affidavit says you don't qualify for the public defender, but I'm gonna appoint them to represent you. It's right on the cusp there, so, and based on the charge, okay? So I'll appoint them to represent you. And I believe this is an F1 PBL pursuant to 782.04 subsection 2 And then there is the principal, which is this equal culpability. So, does the state wish to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. The police were flagged down at 3611 Wells Street by Tamika Johnson, who had been shot in the foot, and they found victim Robert Hansen unresponsive. After attempts at CPR, he was pronounced deceased at the scene. Victim Tamika and a witness from the scene identified co-defendant Quay Washington as being one of the two men at the scene firing handguns. Washington had been seen shooting into the air, and then two men in a Nissan later drove by firing guns, striking victim Johnson in the foot and fatally wounding victim Hatton. The police pursued the Nissan, and body camera footage later showed co-defendant Washington exiting the passenger side of the vehicle and defendant Frazier exiting the driver's side. A gun fell out of the vehicle. Shell casings were found in the vehicle. The defendant and the co-defendant's hands and clothing were tested and found positive for gunshot residue. When defendant Frazier was interviewed, he stated, "You can't put this on me," and he said that he just pulled up and started spraying. Our position is that there is proof evident or presumption great, and to prevent flight, protect the community, he should be held without bond.
All right, Ms. Haley?
Your Honor, we defer to the court.
All right. Based on my review of the affidavit for arrest warrant, I do find proof evident, presumption great. I am going to hold Mr. Frazier at no bond at this time. So Mr. Frazier not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no contact with any victim, any witness, any co-defendant, or any of the victims' families. If you have a passport, okay, I know you're shaking your head, but I'm going to put it in the order. If you have a passport and you are eventually released from the Orange County Jail, you'll need to surrender that to the clerk's office within 12 hours of your release. If you do not own a passport, you'll have to file an affidavit in the court file under oath and notarized, subject to perjury, that you do not own a passport, okay? And I think I covered that. And your attorneys will be able to file a motion for an Arthur hearing, which is a bond hearing, okay? All right. All right, please tell me your name.
Marquez Henry.
All right, Mr. Henry, you're here in 2019 MM 10252, and it looks like the bondsman came off the bond. Is that correct? Okay. So I'm just going to reinstate, which I think that it would already have been reinstated, the $1,000 and the $100 on count 2, and can't go back to that location. All right, no contact with any victims or witnesses. Okay. And I'll appoint the public defender. I do have a form for that. Okay?
So, what?
You have a bond, and I appointed the PD for you. Okay? All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name?
It's Wendy Howard.
Do we know what happened to Walter Holmes? Okay, we'll take no action on Mr. Holmes. All right, Ms. Howard. You're here in 2019 CF 9018AO. You were arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for your arraignment on November 13th, 2019. The judge did revoke your release, set your bond at none, and I don't know if the PD was previously appointed, but I have a form. I'll appoint them to represent you now. They'll have to file a motion to set bond for you, okay?
Okay, who's gonna have to do that?
Public Defender's Office.
Okay,
Okay,
how do
so
I
Ms.
get-
Haling will give you some information. You can call the office, okay?
I just gotta add, I thought that the case had been dropped, so, I mean, I wasn't.
I can't change the capias, okay? But I'm sure they can get a motion filed for you soon, okay?
Okay. And who is the public defender?
It'll be assigned today.
Okay. All right, thank
All
you.
right. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Michael Linder.
All right, Mr. Linder, you're here in 2019 CF 535780. Arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for pretrial conference on October 30th, 2019. The judge did revoke your release, set your bond at none, and does he have the PD? You do have the Public Defender's Office already representing you, so they'll be able to file a motion for you, okay?
Thank you.
All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Desiree Mayberry.
All right, Miss Mayberry, you're here in 2020 CF 253AO. You're arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And the bond will stay at $1,250. I'm not going to take any action on your out on release cases in Osceola. You do have court dates coming up, okay? Right? All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Brandon McGowan.
All right, Mr. McGowan, you're here in 2019 CF 16109AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was previously found for fleeing and attempting to elude a law enforcement officer. Looks like the state did file an information in the case, and they filed on fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer as an F3, and then driving while license suspended with 2 prior convictions. Jenny, I just set the bond on the warrant, right? Okay. All right, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You can't drive without a valid driver's license, and I'm gonna stay the bond at the $5,000. Looks as though you're out on release, but they did revoke, there was a motion granted, the state filed a motion to revoke bond, and it was granted, and so I think action's already been taken on that, so.
It hasn't yet, but
I,
look, I have the order.
yeah, I saw the
And
order.
I'm going to.
But the judge took action by granting the motion, so the bond had already been revoked. There's nothing for me to do. Okay. 2 cases? Oh. Is that the 3-5? Okay, I didn't see that. Okay. I thought that was just, okay, let me just take a look at that real quickly. All right, so in 2020 CF 35AO, you were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was previously found for fleeing and attempting to elude a law enforcement officer with lights and sirens activated and driving while license revoked as a habitual traffic offender. And I'll appoint the PD to represent you in that case as well. Again, you can't drive without a valid driver's license. The bond will be set at $5,000 on count 1, and I'll reduce count 2 to $150. I didn't need to because the judge in the division had already revoked his bond. I don't know what day that was, Jenny, but the court had already revoked the bond on that.
So,
There's no,
today, there's no action.
well, there's nothing to take action on. So it shouldn't be, you can just cross it out because the judge already, previously revoked by trial judge. Thank you. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Macaulay Moselle, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Moselle, you're here in 2019 CF 649AO. You were arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for pretrial conference on May 15th, 2019. And the judge in that case did set your bond at $5,000. And does he have the public defender? Okay, you do have the PD. If you can't make that bond, then they'll file a motion for you. And in 2020 CF 268AO, you're arrested for possession of cocaine. And I do find probable cause for that offense. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And in 2020 MO 40, you were arrested for urinating or defecating in public. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender, and the bond will stay at $250. All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name?
It's Handel Newell.
All right, Mr. Newell, you're here in 2020 CF 273. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for 2 counts of first-degree murder with a firearm. And I don't have a form for the public defender's office. Are you trying to hire your own attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you spoken with anybody yet?
Not as yet, Your Honor.
Okay. It's important that you have representation. You're being charged with 2 capital offenses, okay? So, do you want me to temporarily appoint the PD or appoint the PD, and then if you want to hire your own attorney, you can always do that?
Yes, actually, we spoke with an attorney. I just have to get with him. and
Okay. I mean, I
secure
can
him.
reset your case for tomorrow if you think that you'll be able to get in touch with them and they'll want to be here. But other than that, I think it's important that, because if I make a certain finding today, I can hold you no bond. And so it's important that somebody be able to review that affidavit and make any argument that they think may need to be made. Did you need an affidavit, Ms. Fusco?
I do.
I think my JA indicated that, did you find an affidavit?
I do, and I have an extra.
Oh, I have it.
Okay.
I thought you needed one, and I had a copy printed, and then I forgot about it.
Okay, yeah. I
But you have one? Okay.
I do, thank you.
Because I'm gonna have to meet with him in person. Yes, going to a private attorney. Okay, so I'm gonna see about a private attorney.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you want me to just reset your case for tomorrow and give you that opportunity if you haven't had that opportunity? Or do you want me to hold your first appearance now and appoint the public defender? Ms. Haling, have you reviewed the affidavit?
Yes, Your
Okay, all right. So she's already reviewed the information that I've reviewed and that the state has. So she's prepared to make any argument if one needs to be made today. Sometimes that doesn't benefit you. So it's really up to you. I'm happy to reset your case for tomorrow, but you'll sit in jail, so.
I'm looking to, can I speak with you for like a minute?
May I have a moment?
Sure,
Your Honor?
absolutely.
just wait for the attorney, because we just have to pay the money and stuff, there's nothing to go on. I'm not able to make any phone calls or anything, so.
Oh.
So would a private attorney be able to get me a bond?
All right, Mr. Newell, I don't want to rush you to make a decision, but I mean, I have to make a decision, so you tell me what you want to do. I'll give you that opportunity if you want. I can reset your case for tomorrow, or I can appoint the public defender today.
Yes, okay, I guess I'll work with, the public defender to help me out for now until I can actually speak with
You
an
can hire your own
attorney.
attorney at any
Yes.
point. Okay, so I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, okay?
Thank you very much.
And as I stated before, you're charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder with a firearm. And so, Ms. Fusco, does the state wish to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. Police were called to 5059 Edgewater Drive in Orlando, Florida, in reference to a shooting, and they found Kareeb George, who was pronounced deceased on the scene, and Joseph Brody, who was transported to Advent Hospital in Orlando, where he was pronounced deceased. The Orange County Sheriff's Office began investigation, interviewed multiple witnesses who stated that at 04:30, the lights were turned on inside the club to indicate that the patrons needed to leave, and minutes later, gunshots were heard and a mass of people left out the front and back doors of the club. The investigation revealed that Brody was a promoter for DJ and party events similar to the one he was attending at the nightclub, and anonymous information passed on to the security officer and relayed to detectives that a promoter called Indian possibly shot Brody. He was at the club, he walked out to get a firearm and came back inside the club and shot the 2 victims. The Facebook page for Indian provided information that 4 months prior to the murders, he was kicked out of the club, and after being kicked out, he fired rounds in the parking lot because he was mad at Brody. Later, Indian was identified as Handel Newell, and he is a promoter from DeLand. Surveillance video from an adjacent business showed Mr. Newell arriving at 0200 hours and walking into the club. The 2 victims arrived and entered the club at 0328, and then at 4:33, the video showed a male fitting Newell's description walking out of the club to a truck, and then he was seen on video coming back a minute later. He entered the club through an open door, which all the patrons were exiting, and he's seen exiting into the same truck he was getting into earlier, and drove toward a shell casing. The license plate was vehicle. Later, the wife said that she had known that her husband, excuse me, Your Honor, her husband had had words with Brody. A crime line tip was also received that Indian was responsible for the shooting. Phone call of Newell indicated he was in close proximity to the scene also. The vehicle and the tag number was later found to be a rental car registered to Handel Newell. A search warrant was given for his buccal swabs and to search his residence. The wife stated during that search that she and Newell were at the spot on January 1st when the shooting happened. In the course of the search warrant, 2 firearms and numerous amounts of ammunition was taken. Clothing similar to what Newell was wearing in the video was taken. Also, police later received information that they had witnessed the shooting inside the club and stated that he was an arm length away from victim Green, and he started running toward the exit, but he looked back at the shooter, and he said the shooter was Indian, who shot both male victims, and was able to identify him in a photo lineup. The state's position is that there is proof evident or presumption great, and ask the court that he be held without bond.
Ms. Haley?
Your Honor, we defer to the court.
Okay. And so, Mr. Newell, they're reserving your right to have a bond hearing later on. So if you want to hire an attorney, they can do that, or the PD's office can do that as well for you, okay? And I do find proof evident presumption great based on the affidavit and the state's recitation of the facts as well for both counts. I am going to hold you at no bond on each count at this time. You're not to return back to the location of where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. If you have any weapons or firearms, you must surrender them to law enforcement if you are released from the Orange County Jail within 12 hours. No illegal substances or any alcohol without a valid prescription. No contact with any victims, family members, witnesses, or co-defendants. And if you have a passport, you'll need to surrender that within 12 hours of your release from the Orange County Jail, and you'll need to surrender that to the clerk's office, the clerk of the court. If you do not own a passport, you'll have to file an affidavit under oath, notarized, subject to perjury, that you do not own a passport, and you'll have to file that in the court file. Okay? Yes.
So if I get it.
Oh, this one? Oh, okay. That's the next one? Okay. All right, tell me your name.
Gustavo Adrian Ramos Beltran.
All right. Morning, Mr. Ladon, how are you?
I'm well, Your Honor. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. And did you file a notice of appearance? Are you intending to do so?
We're going to file a limited notice, Your Honor. We were retained late yesterday, so we weren't able to get it done before this morning, but we'll enter an oral notice of appearance.
Okay, but you mean limited?
They haven't filed formal charges yet.
Okay.
So at this point, it's just a...
Okay, all right. All right, Mr. Ramos Beltran, you're here in 2020 CF 260AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was previously found for sexual battery on a child under 12. There's 2 counts of that, and lewd and lascivious molestation on a child under 12, and there's 5 counts of that. And so Mr. Ladon's going to be representing you in your case, okay? And so there's 2 counts of a capital offense and then 5 counts of a life felony offense. And so obviously, I don't know if the state is requesting the court to make any findings.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, a parent contacted the police that said she had been made aware of this by her child. She has 3 children who attend Rocky Ramos Daycare located out of a home at 906 Sheeler Oaks Drive in Apopka. One of her children began to cry one day and begged not to go there. When questioned why she didn't want to go, she said that Gus, the defendant, touches her. A CPT interview was set up for the child, and the child was interviewed. She's 11 years old. She says the first time she was touched inappropriately by Gus was when she first attended the daycare at age 8. The most recent incident occurred on a night on October of 2019. She said that he laid down beside her, began touching her stomach under her clothes with a bare hand, then began rubbing her private area and placed his fingers inside her vagina. There were multiple incidents prior to that one, and she stated in the interview that Gus would touch her inappropriately almost every time she went there. He would get next to her on the couch and just start rubbing everything, and she defined everything as her private area, her butt and her thigh. She was able to describe multiple specific incidents of factual scenarios where he had touched her private areas. It should also be noted, the police noted in their report that this same type of allegation had happened on 7/19/18 in another case, which was reported for review, but then the mother had declined to press charges on behalf of the child. The child has also been receiving medical treatment in an inpatient facility for an eating disorder. The state orders that there is proof evident or presumption great for the charges, and he should be held without bond.
Mr. Ladon.
Your Honor, I reviewed the statement. I've spoken with my client this morning. Obviously, we're entering a not guilty plea on his behalf. For the purposes of the court this morning, I'm aware of the prior allegations. I was consulted on that. It was declined by the state for reasons beyond what the officer's indicating in the report, because the allegations turned out to be completely false. So I don't want that to weigh on the court's conscience, obviously.
Well, there's really nothing in the affidavit other than
Right.
there was a charge, it was dropped.
Right.
That's it.
I wanted you to be aware of that, because, I mean, when you hear, my client's not been in trouble for 30 years. When you hear, oh, there was a similar accusation a year or two ago, that might put you in a different mindset in terms of what you'd be willing to do today. I don't want that to weigh on your conscience. So the issues that exist here, I'm not going to resolve today to the court's satisfaction. So I understand the state's arguing proof evident, presumption great. I've reviewed the statement made by law enforcement of the interview. What concerns me is this is an electronically signed statement that doesn't give me any indicia as to whether this investigator is summarizing statements made within her presence or made to another party. So I don't know if it's double hearsay or if it's child hearsay that's admissible. So I don't really have a meaningful way to attack what the state's presenting to you by way of an affidavit. And so it's a bit problematic for us for today's purposes. So my client flatly rejects that these things occurred, but
Well, I'm confined to the four corners of the affidavit,
Right.
so, and so are you, and so is the state. So, based on my review of the affidavit, while there's a lot of detail recounted by the victim, there's no corroborating evidence, there's no DNA, there's no statements or any effort to make contact with the defendant in the case to get any statements or admissions. It's just the proof evident presumption great is not there.
Right.
Okay, based on what's in the affidavit, and that's the only thing the state has presented to me.
Right.
Nothing else. So I don't find proof evident presumption great based on the affidavit that is in total really a page and a half. So it's just not there today. So I'm not going to make that finding. However, does the state wish to be heard as to bond? Do you?
State or your
State. I mean, do you want to be heard as to bond? And I'll let you also be heard as to bond as well.
Yes, sure.
We'll defer to the court's discretion.
Okay, and so Mr. Ladon, do you want to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. My client resides here locally, is, as I said, has not been in trouble in 30 years. President,
Well, other than the other charge.
which never
Right, but,
was, I don't even think it was an arrest. It was an
Okay.
accusation.
Okay.
So he's here with his wife and daughter. He has family ties that are very strong here in the community. Certainly is not a flight risk, nor is there any evidence to suggest that he is. If the court felt that it was appropriate, I'm sure he'd be willing to surrender any valid passport that he might have. Although, as I said, I don't think that there's any issue about him being a flight risk. He'd submit to the court as to whatever terms and conditions you feel are appropriate for bond purposes. Obviously, he's, capable of hiring private counsel, but is not someone that's going to be able to post, a inordinately high bond to get out. So we would ask that rather than taxing him financially, that you find a mechanism to set bond at a reasonable amount that would also come with pretrial release conditions that the court could use in lieu of elevated bond amounts, so that the court can be satisfied that he's abiding by whatever pretrial release conditions the court feels are appropriate. I believe my client could post, a collective total bond of probably something to the tune of $25,000 for all 7 counts. I think anything higher would be problematic for the family.
All right, so Mr. Ramos Beltran, these are going to be the conditions of your release, all right? So you're not to return back to where the offenses are alleged to have occurred, as named in the affidavit, okay? Sorry?
It's his house.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I think that there's other locations, no? Okay.
I don't, unless I misunderstood, Your Honor, I believe the accusations all stem from times when the alleged victim was at my
At the
client's place
date,
of residence.
okay, I
Yes.
understand,
Yes.
okay. It's not quite clear.
I understand that too. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll strike that portion.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, no contact with any victim, any witness, or the victim's family, okay? And no unsupervised contact with any minor child under the age of 18. And if that affects your employment or anything of that, it doesn't matter to me, okay? And if you do have a passport, you'll need to surrender that to the clerk's office within 12 hours of your release from the Orange County Jail. If you do not own a passport, you'll have to file an affidavit notarized under oath, subject to perjury, that you do not own a passport, okay? I am gonna set your bond on counts 1 and 2 at $50,000 on each count. Count 3 will be $15,000, and count 4, 5, and 6, and 7 will be $5,000. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. That's all I have before the court.
All right, thank you.
Madam Clerk, can I get a copy of that?
Huh?
Madam Clerk, could I get a copy of that? Thank you.
All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Christian Ramos.
All right, Mr. Ramos, you're here in 2020 CF 262AO. You were arrested for possession of a controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And the bond will stay at 1,000 and 100, well, I don't know, I'll reduce count 2 to 100. All right, please tell me your name.
Thomas Rossi.
All right, Mr. Rossi, you're here in 2019 CF 17182. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was previously found for failing to update your information with the Department of Highway and Safety and Motor Vehicles as a sexual offender. And I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I do have to advise you that you do have reporting requirements, okay? And then I am setting your bond at $2,500. All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Delta Russian.
All right, Mr. Rushing, you're here in 2019 CF 17619AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was previously found for fraudulent use of personal identification information of another and petty theft. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You may not return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. Looks like that Fifth Third Bank at 200 East Robinson Street, and no contact with any listed victims or witnesses in the case. I do have to advise you as well that you do have reporting requirements. And your bond will stay set at $2,000 and $250.
Your Honor, Joseph Staggs refused.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Staggs has refused to come to court. I am going to find that to be a waiver. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent Mr. Staggs. And Ms. Haling, do you want to formally waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so he's charged with burglary of a conveyance and petty theft. And I do find probable cause. I did appoint the PD already, and he cannot return back to 3561 Brighton Park Circle in Belle Isle, and no contact with any victims or witnesses. The bond is staying at $3,500 and $100. All right, tell me your name, please.
Emily Subers.
All right, Ms. Subers, you're here in 2019 CF 1357BO. And it looks like the state did file an information in this case and consolidated it with a couple of other cases. Judge did find probable cause. And so the information that they charged you with is carjacking, grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle, and battery on a person 65 years of age or older, which are the same offenses listed in the warrant, I believe. Or maybe not. Okay, so there is a capias, and the bond on count one is set at none. It is a punishable by life felony. Did I appoint the PD? I do not have a form for the public defender. Were you planning on hiring your own attorney, ma'am?
They have me set up with, on my paperwork with the council, regional council.
Okay, let me take a look real quick. All right, so conflict counsel is in the case, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So you do have representation. So count one is a punishable by life felony. For purposes of the initial appearance, I can't temporarily appoint the PD if they're already there, but I don't know if Ms. Haling, you want to just represent her as a friend of the court for purposes of the initial appearance.
Yeah, and well, the charge is a carjacking.
Correct.
That's without a firearm. Wouldn't a firearm be would make it a punishable by life offense?
You may be right, but it's. Ms. Fusco, do you have I haven't looked at the statute, but I thought it was a PBL. So let me just look at the statute again. What is the state's position on that?
I didn't see that it had a firearm, and I thought a firearm was required, but I'm not following.
Okay, all right, I'm just gonna take a look at the statute. the information charge is 812.133 sub 1 and 812.133 2B. So we'll see. Okay, so it is a F1 punishable by 30. Okay, yes. All right, so, Ms. Subers, conflict counsel already represents you. I am gonna order that you're not to have any contact directly or indirectly with the victims, witnesses, or any co-defendants. No weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond on count 1 will be set at $20,000. Count 2 will be stayed at $5,000 and count 3, $1,000. All right, please tell me your name.
Ruchi Vital.
All right, Ms. Vital, you're here in 2018 CF 14539AO. You're arrested pursuant to a KPS for failing to appear for your arraignment on October 31st, 2019. The judge did set your bond at none. And I'll appoint the PD if they haven't previously been appointed. And they'll have to file a motion to set bond for you in Division 14.
Ma'am, I went to court for that, and I received paperwork that it was nolo prosequi.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up, but we'll see. My chances are that it may not be that case. No, so the case is still an open case. It looks like it came in as a non-arrest case. The state filed an information, and that was back in October of 2018. Then you had an out-of-county arrest from Brevard County. You filed your bond. The PD was appointed previously back in April, and they entered a plea of not guilty for you. They did file a null pros and then refiled an information back in July of 2019. The KPS was issued, and there was an out-of-county arrest. You filed a bond again. Then on 10/31/2019, you failed to appear for your arraignment. The bond was forfeited. And I believe that's why we're here today. Okay, so looks like you were correct. They did drop it, but then they refiled it. You were then arrested on it and then released and then told to appear in court, and you did not. Okay, so you'll have to talk to Judge Young about that, and your attorneys will be able to file a motion. Okay?
Could I, since I was present for...
I can't change the KPS, ma'am, and I understand you were present when the state dropped the charges, but then since then you were arrested and you knowingly understood, I would assume, that the case was still open when you were arrested before on the KPS when the state refiled it. Okay?
I wasn't notified that
Okay, but
they
you
had refiled
got
it.
arrested and can't get arrested on a closed case. and then you were told to come to court for an arraignment, and you did not appear. So your attorneys will be able to provide all of that information to Judge Young, but I can't change the KPS, and based on what I'm seeing in the court file, I would not change it. And then I would also indicate that notice was mailed to the bondsman, and so the bondsman had notice of the court hearing. Okay? All right, good morning. Tell me your name, sir.
D'Angelo Austin.
Now, Mr. Alston, you're here in 2020 MO 41. You're arrested for camping. I do find probable cause. I don't have a form for the public defender. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, 2 days with credit time served, court costs.
All right. Mr. Alston, do you want to accept that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll have you sign the plea form, please. Is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit and the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. Do you have to impose court costs? I'll order you pay those by January 8th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck, Mr. Alston. All right, tell me your name, sir.
Mark Allen Davis.
All right, Mr. Davis, you're here in 2020 CO37. You're arrested for soliciting without a permit. I do find probable cause. I don't have a form for the PD. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, 2 days with credit time served, court costs.
All right, Mr. Davis, do you want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll have you sign the plea form, please. All right, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, it is, ma'am.
Did you understand everything that was contained within the plea form?
Yes, I did.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, I do.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
I do understand this,
All
ma'am.
right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea. Based on the affidavit in the court file, I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. Do have to impose court costs. I'll order you pay those by January 8th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
My name is Dennis C. Martin.
All right, Mr. Martin, you're here in 2020 MO 44. You were arrested for camping in a prohibited place.
Yes.
I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, 2 days with credit time served, court costs.
All right, Mr. Martin, do you want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll have you sign that plea form, please. All right, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form, Mr. Martin?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I do find a factual basis based on the affidavit in the court file to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served.
Yes, ma'am.
I do have to impose court costs. I'll order you pay those by January 8th, 2021.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Douglas Mall.
All right, Mr. Mull, you're here in 2020 MO 45. You were arrested for camping in a prohibited place, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, 2 days with credit time served, court cost.
Okay, and Mr. Mull, do you want to accept the offer?
How many days, have I had 1 day so
Two.
far?
Two. They count two.
Yeah.
Two. So it's credit for time served.
Oh, so I'm done.
Yep.
Do you know where I can camp? You're
well,
saying that that's a restricted place.
I can't give, I don't know, and I don't want to give you bad information. So I really can't tell you that. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay? But you can't camp in in a park and places like that unless it's a specific camping location. You may have to have permits for certain places, and so I don't want to give you bad information.
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
If you have any questions about that, you can maybe call the city of Orlando,
All right.
and they may be able to tell you where you can camp, okay?
Yes,
But do you want to accept that offer?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And then I do have to advise you that you do have reporting requirements, okay?
Have what?
Reporting requirements.
Reporting.
Do you have to report any change of address and anything to the Department of Motor Vehicles? Okay, that's what I'm advising you of, all right? All right, was that your signature at the bottom of the plea form, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. Do you have to impose court costs? I'll order you pay those by January 8th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck, Mr. Mom.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? All right, please tell me your name.
Joseph Sullivan.
All right, Mr. Sullivan. You're here in 2020 MO 48. You were arrested for camping in a prohibited place, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, 2 days with credit time served, court cost.
You want to do that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Sullivan, was that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes.
Did you understand everything that was contained within the plea form?
Yes.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Okay, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Okay, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. Excuse me, I do have to impose court costs. I'll order you pay those by January 8th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck. All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Good morning, Diarlo Brown.
All right, Mr. Brown, you're here in an Osceola County warrant, and the judge in Osceola did set your bond at $2,000. If you're able to bond out, you can bond out. If not, Osceola County will have 24 hours to come and get you pursuant to our administrative order. If they don't do that within the time frame, you'll come back before a judge, okay? Yeah.
Okay, Your Honor. I received a phone call at 5 o'clock yesterday from Moncrief Bondsman. When I spoke to them, they say, "Hey, Diarlo," well, they call my girl and my mom. They say, "Diarlo, it's been a mistake." I say, "What's going on?" They say, "Osceola mailed your court date to L.B. McLeod Road. I have not lived there since I was 11. Moncrief told me that they received a return to send a letter to them, and that's when they called me.
So, Mr. Brown.
They told me to
Okay.
call.
I understand, I get it, and I totally get it, and maybe the notice went to the wrong place, but I cannot change what Osceola judge did in this case, okay? So you're gonna have to bring it up when they either bond out, okay? Or you go back to Osceola and you talk to the judge there. But I can't change what the Osceola County judge did, okay? And I'm sorry, but I just can't do that.
I understand,
Okay?
thank you. So
All right.
I can bond now still,
Yeah,
right?
you have a $2,000 bond, so
Okay,
if you're
thank
able
you.
to bond out, if not, Osceola will come and get you within 24 hours.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? All right, have a good day. All right, tell me your name.
Terry Cosby.
Do we know what happened to Michael Chalmers? Okay, he got transferred. All right, so we'll take no action. Mr. Cosby?
Yes.
Okay. You're here for an Okeechobee County warrant, and it looks like that's a violation of probation in Okeechobee, and the judge set your bond at none in that case. And so Okeechobee County will have 72 hours pursuant to our administrative order, not including weekends or holidays, to come and get you, okay? If they don't do that within that time frame, you'll come back before a judge, okay?
Doesn't matter if the original violation got dismissed.
I don't know what, I have no information what's going on in Okeechobee other than you were arrested on a warrant. So that's all I can tell you. If you have an attorney over there, they might be able to look into that, but I have no jurisdiction over anything in Okeechobee, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, please tell me your name.
Carol Williams.
All right, Miss Williams, you're here for a Seminole County warrant, and the judge in Seminole County did set your bond at none. And so Seminole County will have 24 hours pursuant to our administrative order to come and get you. If they don't do that within that time frame, you'll come back before me, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Mr. Leo Lejeune?
All right, Mr. Lejeune. You were here yesterday in 2020 CF 227AO, and I did not find probable cause for the possession of an ammunition by a convicted felon based on what was in the affidavit. I did appoint the public defender.
Yes, Your Honor.
I did. Okay, and so, I gave the state 24 hours to provide the court with supplemental discovery, or excuse me, supplemental affidavit, which might reflect the probable cause. I don't have anything. I, sure, yeah,
So if I highlighted the
okay, is it, okay, thank you. All right, and so I've been provided with supplemental information supporting the probable cause for the charge of possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, and it does contain the jurat, which is a sworn document, and that was provided as well to Ms. Haling, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I do find probable cause for the possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, and the bond will stay, and the same conditions of release, which I've already imposed. And I did not take action on your other case, so that hold was released yesterday. Okay? All right, please tell me your name.
Gage Strobridge.
All right, Mr. Strobridge, you're here in 2020 CF 198AO. And you were arrested for burglary to an unoccupied structure and criminal mischief. And I do find probable cause. Did you want me to see if you qualify for the public defender?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you work?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and so you have no income?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You may not return back
Is this the second count?
to the Centura Institute. Don't talk about anything on the record, sir. And at 6359 Edgewater Drive. Don't have any contact with any victim, any witness, or any co-defendant as named in the affidavit, and no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at $3,500 and $100. All right, can you tell me your name?
Willie Davis Cobb.
Okay, Mr. Cobb, it looks like you're here in 19 MO 1966 AO and 19 MO 2024 AO, and the Public Defender's Office represents you in those cases, and they've set you for pleas. In those cases, the email that was provided to the court says that the city prosecutor will drop 19 MO 1966, and you'll plead to 19 MO 2024 AO, and the offer or the resolution is a withhold of adjudication, credit for time served. Do we know what that? 12 days. And $223 in court costs. With the PD lien, that comes to $273, and then the $10 filing fee, and then I would give you a year to pay off your court costs. Is that everybody's understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and so I'll have you sign the plea form, Mr. Cobb. Or Cobbs. Is it Cobbs or Cobb? Is it Cobbs or Cobb?
It's Cobbs, it'll be
Cobbs,
this.
okay.
I got the same thing, man.
That's what you leave before you get in the course of your money.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Cobbs, was that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you understand everything that was contained within the
Yes,
plea
yes,
form?
ma'am.
All right, do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'm reviewing the affidavit in the court file for the 19 MO 2024, and that was for solicit, it looks like it's a soliciting without a permit. And I do find a factual basis to accept your plea. I'll withhold adjudication, sentence you to 12 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 12 days time served. I'll impose the $223 in court costs, and then plus that PD lien equals $273, okay? And then there's a $10 filing fee. And I do have to, and I'll order that you pay those by January 8th, 2021, okay? And if you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Does the state have an announcement as to 19 MO 1966 AO on behalf of the city?
Yes, honey, yes, no prosecute,
I'm sorry?
will not prosecute.
Okay, are you announcing a null pros? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so the state's announced a null process. Do you need a cop, do you need a, I mean,
Not in jail.
okay. The city should file one. In the other courtroom, the other clerks say that they don't need it, and Ms. Bush says she's never filed one, but I like to have the null process so that he's not stuck getting arrested or.
I'll put it on the.
You can just put like state announced a null pros, for the city prosecutor based on the plea agreement. But Ms. Fusco, if you could contact Mr. McGee and let him know that I would like him to file a null pros in that case, okay? I don't want that affecting him negatively at a later date, okay? And then you can put city prosecutor to file null pros.
Thank you.
All right, good luck. Mr. Combs. All right, I think then what just leaves us the 33 days, correct?
Yeah, and we
Oh,
have Mr. Lamar.
oh, I'm sorry. Did you get a chance to talk to him?
Yes.
Okay. When?
During the out of county.
Oh, okay. Good move. Okay. So, Mr. Lamar, we're recalling 2020 MO43, and Ms. Haling, you previously indicated that Mr. Lamar had been found incompetent in another case, and I don't have any of that information, but, and that it was a permanent incompetency found by a psychologist or a psychiatrist at some point in time. Have you spoken with Mr. Lamar?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what do you want to do?
We're not going to enter a plea today.
Okay, all right. So, Mr. Lamar, is that based on you don't believe that he understands the nature and consequences of
Correct,
the plea?
Your Honor, in conjunction with his adjudication of incompetence.
Okay, but after speaking with him, do you believe that he does not understand what the proceedings are about today?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and that he does not understand the charge that he's charged with?
He understands the charge, but he does not understand what's happening today.
Okay, Mr. Lamar, do you know who I am, what I do?
You're a judge.
Okay, and who's standing next to you, to
Polly
your
Freeman,
left?
my sister,
And then
my
who's
sister,
sitting at
my
that
sister,
table over there? Who's that over there?
The lady, a friend of mine, I understand about it, I can see.
I'm sorry, I can't hear
A
you.
lady was working on this, different files, papers, file, court system or something like that.
Okay,
I
all
met
right.
when I was
Okay, all right, Mr. Lamar, so I am going to, I don't know what I did with his face sheet.
I can give you my copy.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Does he have a first appearance detainer?
Yeah, he has an open MO case.
Okay, because I don't have any other paperwork for him.
Yeah, he does have it.
Okay. I have, yeah, there's no paperwork attached to the information that I have. Okay, so it's for another disorderly conduct?
Yeah. I can give you the case number if you need it.
It's on the
It's
face
on-
sheet. It's not attached. There's no FAD. Okay. 2000, the FAD number, 2019 MO 1983 AO. All right, Mr. Lamar, I'm not gonna take any action on your out on release case, and I am gonna release you ROR on this case, okay? I don't know if you have a court date coming up in the other case, but they're gonna give you you should, but they're gonna give you a court date when you get released today.
Yeah.
Don't miss that court date,
All right,
okay?
okay.
You got me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Are you guys ready on the 33?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I have a 33-day motion from Mr. Powers for Michael Stephen Blasinski.
Yes, Your Honor. On January 7th, there was a notice of non-filing.
All right, looks like his bond was revoked in October, and nothing's been done since then, and he's been in more than 33 days since the revocation, and so that will be granted. All right, 2019 CF 16785AO, Joseph Staggs.
Yes, Your Honor. There was a motion for administrative transfer to Division 20 with a companion case, and the information was filed under 19 CF 16785-0, filing ID 101251157, filed on January 7th.
All right, I'm sorry, can you give me the other case number again?
Yes, Your Honor. 19 CF 16785.
AO?
Oh.
Is it, but it's not as with a co-defendant or anything? It's just A? Okay. Okay, that will be denied. 2019 CF 14367AO, Daniel Torres.
Yes, Your Honor. On January 7th, a no information notice was filed.
All right, that will be granted. 2019 CF 16294AO, Dustin Michael Hunter.
Yes, Your Honor. On this case, he was arrested on November 25th. He bonded out on December 2nd. Bond was revoked on January 3rd, so he has approximately 13 days in.
6 days.
Okay.
Since the 3rd. Today's the 8th, so 6 days.
Well, I guess they counted the original timing.
Well,
as-
yeah, but I'm not counting it. You don't get to put
Okay.
together the days. So, yeah, it'll be denied based on 6 days since his revocation. All right. 2019 CF 16378AO, Emily Nip.
Yes, Your Honor. On January 7th, there was a notice of non-filing.
That will be granted. 2019 CF 16699AO, Richard Mano Alford.
Yes, Your Honor. On January 7th, there was an information filed, filing ID 101277039.
All right, that will be denied. 2019 CF 16701AO, Vernette Buford.
Yes, Your Honor, on January 6th, there was a notice of non-filing.
All right, that will be granted. All right, anything else?
No, yeah.
All right, I have no idea what our afternoon looks like. My guess is it's heavy. I don't know. It's small? Oh. Does anyone have any numbers? Anyone,
sounded like
anyone
11 or
here
12.
from, anyone? here?
I don't.
Oh, there's somebody sitting down there.
You said 11 or 12, depending on if one person comes or not.
Okay, do you guys want to do a move up or?
I'm okay with the move up.
I'm fine.
Okay, how much time do y'all need? You just tell me.
I say 45.
That's fine, Your Honor.
45 minutes? Okay, so you want to come back at 10, or excuse me, 11:50?
We can do that. Or if you want to make it even and just come back at 12, but 11:50 is fine with me.
Okay, 11:50?
Okay.
Okay. I don't know, I mean, my guess is some of them are out-of-county warrants or, you know, I don't know how much.
I have a list. I just didn't know who bonded or not.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, we'll be in recess. The parties announce themselves for the record, please.
Lakeisha Halen, Office of the Public Defender.
Elaine Fusco, State Attorney's Office.
All right. All right, good morning, or good afternoon, or good morning. Can you tell me your name?
My name is Berthel Quincy Wiley.
Okay. Is your last name Berthel?
No, my first name.
First name is Berthel. Okay. I think they just had you on the face sheet. Maybe there's a KA. All right, you're here in 2020 CF 222AO. And you were charged with aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer, burglary of a structure, resisting an officer with violence, resisting an officer without violence, and criminal mischief. And I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender. I just wanted to know, I think I reset this from yesterday. It shows the original bond at 4,000, but I think it's 10,000. Okay, that's what I thought. All right. And then so, Mr. Wiley, you're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have been committed. Don't go back to 741 West Colonial Drive, the Miracle of Love. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and no contact with any listed victims or witnesses. Don't talk about the facts, okay, sir? Just comply with those conditions of release.
18.
And I am gonna stay the bond at the 10,000, 150 on all additional subsequent counts. And, I'm not gonna take any action on the out on release case, okay?
That means guilty with reason of insanity.
Okay, well, your attorneys will have to file a motion for you, okay?
They didn't have money to the over 100,000.
Huh? 2019 MM 7388. I don't know why that said 4,000 here, but, yeah. All right, tell me your name, please.
Ronald Hurt.
All right, Mr. Hurt, you're here in 2020 CT 13AA. You're arrested for driving while license suspended. And I do find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender. And in that case, you can't drive without a valid driver's license. And in 2020 CF 270AO, you're arrested for possession of a controlled substance without a prescription and possession of drug paraphernalia. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the PD, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And I'm gonna place you on pretrial release. Make sure that you don't miss any court dates, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Keep in touch with your attorneys.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, can you tell me your name, please?
Sonia Mitchell.
Right, Miss Mitchell. You're here in 2020 CF 272AO. You were arrested for driving while license suspended with 2 prior convictions. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. You're not to drive without a valid driver's license. The bond will stay at $2,500. You're out on release for driving while licensed as driving with your license suspended as a habitual traffic offender and fleeing and eluding, and some other charges. It looks like it says active program PTR, but these all show bonds. Is it bond? Was she on bond plus PTR? The face sheet says active PTR.
Check your one.
Okay. And then the FAD lists just bonds. So I don't know if I need to sign anything else, but I'm gonna revoke the release in 19 CF 11895 and set the bond at none at this time. And you do have the public defender or an attorney in that case, and they'll be able to file any motions for you. I don't know if.
It was a bond and, Your Honor.
And?
It was bond.
Okay,
and.
so I don't know if you need me to sign any
They
additional.
didn't send me any paperwork. from
Okay.
TCD.
All right. All right, tell me your name, please.
Karan Moore.
All right, Mr. Moore, you're here in 2020 CF 271AO. You're arrested for grand theft, 3rd degree of a motor vehicle. And I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. No contact with any listed victim or witness. And you're out on bond in 19 CF 11355AO. And I am going to revoke the bond and set that at none at this time. You do have an attorney in that case, and they'll be able to file any motions to set bond for you.
Your Honor, did you stay the bond?
I'm sorry, and I'll stay the bond at the 1,000. All right, tell me your name, please.
Junior Vincent.
Do we know what happened to Demarius Taylor? Okay, well, if Mr. Taylor can't behave himself and come to court, then I find that to be a waiver. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent him. And so, Ms. Haling, do you want to formally waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so he's charged by a warrant in which probable cause was found for robbery, grand theft, 3rd degree of a motor vehicle, and battery with 1 prior battery conviction. And I did appoint the public defender. His conditions of release are not to return back to the location of where the offense is alleged to have occurred, 527 Harriet Avenue. No contact with any victim, witness, or co-defendant. Can I add the co-defendant, because the warrant did not? And no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And the bonds will stay at $2,500, $500, and $2,500. All right, Mr. Vincent. You're here in 2019 CF 6447AO. You were arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for your pretrial on November 26, 2019. So you have the PD, you do have the public defender. In that case, they'll file any motions that need to be filed for you. In that case, 2020 MM 180AO, you're charged with loitering or prowling. I don't find probable cause.
I was on my work property.
Don't talk about anything, okay, Mr. Vincent? I don't find probable cause. They didn't attempt to figure out why he was in that location to alleviate any concerns that they may have had. There's really no identification. They indicated that he matched the description of the gentleman that ran from law enforcement, but then never had that individual ID. I mean, technically, they could have charged him with providing false aid to law enforcement, but they didn't, so, I don't find probable cause, so Ms. Fusco, I'm gonna ROR him on that.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so I'm gonna ROR you on that with no PC finding. But I'll appoint the public defender as well on that case for you, okay? And, they'll have to file a motion for you as to bond in the other case, all
Okay.
right? Please tell me your name.
Mehmet Saysek.
All right, Mr. Sisek, you're here in 2020 CT 202A0 and 2020 CT 203A0. You're arrested for driving while license suspended and driving under the influence, and I find probable cause for those offenses. I don't have a form for the public defender. Are you going to hire your own attorney?
I'll hire private attorney.
You have hired him or her?
Not yet.
Okay,
Today I'll
all right.
talk to
All right,
office.
and he does not qualify for pretrial, no, okay, you have an open case, okay. I am gonna stay the bond at 100 and 500. You may not drive without a valid driver's license, nor may you consume any alcohol or any illegal substances without a valid prescription. I'm also ordering random urinalysis through pretrial release, so you need to make sure that you comply with the court orders or your bond, or your release can be revoked, okay?
Okay.
Please tell me your name.
Alexander Jake Lopez.
Mr. Lopez, you're here in 2019 CT 1363AA. You failed to appear for pretrial conference. The judge did set your bond at $2,000. Does he have the PD, do we know?
Yes.
Okay, you do have the public defender. Does the state have an offer for him if he wanted to resolve his case?
No, at this time, Your Honor.
Are you interested in trying to resolve your case, Mr. Lopez? I haven't looked at anything about
Yes,
your
ma'am.
case, so you have a bond, so you're not sitting in there no bond, so if you're able to bond out, you can bond out, but if
trying
you're
to see if-
interested, I can look at your driving record
Yes,
and the
ma'am.
facts. You are?
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
want to see what the,
So you're charged. So the last is a withhold in 2011. That was the last one that you had. And then you haven't had your license reinstated, and you have a lot of financial stuff and some failures to appear. How many days in total? Four. Was there another case associated with this case? My guess is that there was, because he was also charged with grand theft and possession of heroin. Is there still an open case? Do we know? I just don't want him to. Looks like 19 CF 15925. Okay, right, but it's still active. So if he pled to this, then he's placing himself at that location in possession of the vehicle, so, because of the facts of the case, as well as the other charges that the state could still charge you with, okay? I'm not gonna do anything with your case today. It's something that you may want to just talk to the public defender's office about and see if it's good to resolve it or not. But you do have a bond, so, you're not sitting in there no bond, okay? But I don't think it's a good idea to resolve that today, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, the next case, Antonio Walker, can we bypass him?
Sure, and then Bernard bonded, so we're not taking action on Bernard. All right. Tell me your name.
Sky Ghosted.
Do you know what happened to Walton?
Walton is also
Behavior? Okay. I'm gonna reset Walton and I'll appoint the PD. I don't know, Miss Haling, if you have an opportunity to chat with him. Is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just so she can talk to him about it?
Adjudication of guilt, 2 days credit time served court costs.
Okay, so we'll reset and maybe Mr. Walton will decide to come to court or behave himself. All right, and Ms. Goldston? Ms. Goldston?
Yes.
Okay. All right, you're here on an Osceola County warrant, and the judge did set your bond at none. It's a violation of probation, and so Osceola County will come and pick you up within 24 hours. I don't believe that they would not pick you up, so, but they have 24 hours pursuant to our administrative order to do so. If they don't, then you'll come back to see me, okay?
All right, this is Walker.
Walker? Okay. All right, can you tell me your full name, sir?
Antonio Levonzo Walker.
All right, Mr. Walker, you're here in 2020 MM 181AO. You're charged with petty theft, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I don't know if the state will have an offer today, but we'll see.
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, and my guess is because of his prior theft convictions.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so, Mr. Walker, you can't go back to the Family Dollar at 111 East Kennedy Boulevard. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. And I'll stay the bond at the 500. You're out on release for petty theft, 2 priors, and another case. So I'm gonna revoke those releases in 2019 CF 17278. 2019 CF 14931, and set those at none at this time. And I believe you do have attorneys in those cases, and they'll be able to file motions for you. Can you please tell me your name?
Rigo Lopez.
Do you know what happened to Eric, Henson bonded?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Lopez, you're here in a Seminole County warrant. The judge in Seminole County set your bond at none in all of the counts. And so Seminole County will have 24 hours to come and pick you up pursuant to our administrative order. If they don't do that within,
Yes, I have 4,600.
oh, it's showing, okay, why does it always show 0 on all the affidavits? Where is it? Oh, okay, I never saw that before. Okay, so, well, that says 46,000. Oh, so it's 46,000, okay. Okay, so, you have a $46,000 bond. So if you're able to bond out, you can bond out. If not, Seminole County will have 24 hours pursuant to our administrative order to come and pick you up. My other thing is that it says standard conditions of release and GPS monitoring, which we don't do here.
It's a hold for Seminole,
So-
it's placed there.
So they would not, he would not be able to bond out.
They would come and hook him up as he gone before he left. We would notify them, they have people that come and do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you understand? Okay. All right. All right, anything else?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you. We'll be in recess until tomorrow.